Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel, Health Short Series episode number 5, and the topic is Anglo-Saxon prose and King Alfred. King Alfred the Great was otherwise called as the father of English prose. He was the king of the West Saxon from 1871 to 1899. He was the best known ruler among the Anglo-Saxon rulers. He defeated the Danes and he inspired the English public with a sense of nationalism. And he was essentially drawn towards the concept of a centralized state. He contributed much to the development of Anglo-Saxon literature and especially of Anglo-Saxon prose. He improved and raised the cultural and literary standards of his people who were ignorant and barbaric previously. King Alfred and the Anglo-Saxon prose. So King Alfred contributed much to the growth of Anglo-Saxon prose through three different ways. So what are those ways? Point number 1, through the development of Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, which actually depicted the births and deaths and history of the various kings and their warfare. He encouraged, point number 2, he encouraged English translations of great Latin works. Point number 3, King Alfred himself wrote and added to the development of Anglo-Saxon prose. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. So initially, it was a loose and irregular historical records of kings and their wars, and there was no literary standard at all. It was King Alfred who raised its standards with his effective hard work. So it represented the first monumental prose in the history of English language. So Alfred himself was believed to have written some portion of it. And it represented to be the first national history of a Western nation. And it was the beginning step towards creating an English culture. So what are the translations that happened during his reign from Latin to Anglo-Saxon? So the bolded works or the works done by, translated by Lord Alfred, right? So be its ecclesiastical history of the English people, it highlighted Christian morality. Pope Gregory's Cura Pastoralis, which King Alfred himself translated, was all about the principles of Christianity. Orosius, the history of the world, it was actually a record of different regions and races. And Boethius, the consolation philosophy, was all about cultural and intellectual growth, which King Alfred himself translated. And then comes Augustine's Soliloquia, which was translated by King Alfred, and it was all about self-knowledge, right? And King Alfred also translated the first 50 Psalms. And then comes Gregory's Dialogues, which was also translated. And it was about a collection of 4 books of miracles, signs, wonders, and healings done by the holy men of 6th century Italy. So these are the translated works that took place during the reign of King Alfred. So the biographer of King Alfred, Asser. So in 1893, Asser wrote a biography of Alfred called The Life of King Alfred. So he was a close associate of King Alfred, and it was a main source of information about Alfred's life. Asser assisted Alfred in his translation of Gregory the Great's pastoral care, and possibly with other works as well. So that's all about today's episode. Thank you. Stay tuned for updates on Health Short series and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.